Alright, y'all. I hope y'all are ready for another amazing case. Let's see if we can save our person from being found guilty when they didn't do nothing wrong. Very well. I call a police officer who investigated the crime scene. Inspector Juste Volerti. Step up to the stand, Inspector, and recite the oath. I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Please recite your name and occupation for the court record. My name is Inspector Juste Volerti. I'm a servant of the law, a scourge of the gutter rats. That will do, Inspector. I've heard your monologue before. Oh, Rico's really going for the speed records, isn't he? Now, can you tell us what you witnessed on the morning of the 7th of January? Of course. At 10 o'clock this morning, I was called to the Louvre's Grand Gallery by one of the King's Royal Guards. Did you say 10 o'clock? There I saw Prince Juan, King Louis Philippe, and the corpse of Major Howell with a rose in hand, and around 24 citizens. Citizens and the king himself all attest to seeing Major Howell taking the rose from the Prince Juan's hand, and then promptly dropping dead. What did the morgue uncover upon examination of the corpse? The coroner determined with absolute certainty that Major Howell died of poisoning. Aside from a prick upon the finger, there was no sign of external harm on Major Howell's body. Therefore, the poisoned rose must have been the cause of death. Putting the pieces together, that does seem very implicative of the prince. I have no further questions. Damn. I was hoping the coroner's report would determine the guy died from a freak heart attack or something. That would make for a particularly speedy trial, wouldn't it? But no, we aren't so lucky. Something else must be amiss in the old bird's testimony. Right, I'll tear it apart. Your Honor, I wish to cross-examine the witness. Falcon, wasn't it? Don't waste the court's time. A high-ranking police officer would never lie on the witness stand. I wouldn't accuse the inspector of lying. I just want to make sure that every base is properly covered. Sounds like pointless nitpicking to me, but I'll allow it for now. Go on, Falcon. Do your cross-examination. Inspector, you say that the court had determined with certainty that Major Howell was killed by poison. Correct. He stated the signs and symptoms were textbook. There's no possibility that his death was natural. The coroner mentioned specifically what kind of poison was it? He was not certain. First coroner posited that it was a plant-borne poison like that of the aconite flower. When he learned how fast the poison had taken effect, he noted that this was atypical of aconite. Consequently, he suggested that it may have been some newly engineered concoction. A newly engineered poison, you say? Well, that only reaffirms that this is a very deliberate assassination attempt. Indeed. How exactly was Major Howell poisoned? What was the delivery mechanism? His finger was pricked by the poisoned rose. He even commented out loud about it seconds before dying. All 22 citizens who witnessed the murder attested to seeing and hearing this. Is there any possibility he was poisoned by something else? What an absurd thing to ask, JJ. You just heard that 22 people saw the victim prick his finger and die. What are you suggesting? That the pricked finger had no relation to the poisoning? That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't doubt that Major Hal was poisoned, but I doubt that Rose was the cause. Unbelievable. Only a total buffoon would fail to draw the blatant link here. JJ, as tempting as it is to sit here and lecture you on the basics of cause and effect, I'll end this discussion painlessly. Inspector, please tell the defense that you found traces of poison on the thorns of the rose itself. It should alleviate all doubt that the rose was, in fact, the poison delivery mechanism. Actually, I can't tell him that. I dread to ask, but why not? We didn't check the rose for traces of poison. It seemed obvious that the rose had caused the poisoning, given the timing of the incident. Well then, now would be a good time to make a test. Here's a marvelous thought. We prick the finger of the defendant with the rose. If there's no poison on the rose, then Prince Juan lives and he is free to go. If the rose is poisoned, then the prince dies. But that's okay, because the punishment would be just and fitting to the crime. A marvelous suggestion. What is this, a witch trial? This isn't America, Severin. That's not how we do things here. Calm your feathers, JJ. It was clearly a joke. There are far more humane ways of testing for poison. I'm sure the inspector will perform his duty with due diligence. Actually, we won't be able to test the rose for poison at all. Why is that? Given the dangerous nature of the flower, it was destroyed by the police force. We burned it to ashes. Such unprofessionalism. We have no way to know whether the rose was poisoned, and this whole trial ought to be called into question. Nice try, JJ, but for the process of reasoning by elimination, we can deduce with absolute certainty that the rose was poisoned. In other words, if there's nothing else at the crime scene that could have caused the poisoning. Wrong. There was something at the crime scene that could have contained the poison, something the investigative police blindly overlooked. Look at this. What am I supposed to be looking at? It is the paper wrapper to a piece of chocolate, which is found in the Louvre, the Salle des Timbres to be precise, and we can date its consumption to the day of the incident. You're not suggesting that Major Howell ate a piece of poisoned chocolate moments before he died? I most certainly am. Oh, intriguing. That's pretty convincing. Did you see this wrapper at the crime scene yourself, Inspector? Police forces does not have the time nor resources to trawl every piece of trash at every crime scene, I'm afraid. In other words, you overlooked it. Astounding unprofessionalism. The prosecution is right to be disgusted. What a disgraceful display, Inspector. I offer my apologies, Your Honor. I don't want your apologies. I want you to do your damned job properly. Get off the witness podium before I kick you off myself. As you wish, I'll take my leave. Until next time, messieurs. So let me get this straight. The chocolate wrapper was found at the crime scene? Correct. You have reason to believe it was consumed on the day of the incident. I do. I have an expert food tasting witness who is willing to testify if need be. You have a foodie witness? I don't recall anyone like that. Who on earth are you talking about? Fuck. Oh, I see. But do you know for certain that Major Howl consumed the chocolate? No, that is a fact we are still investigating. I see. And do you have evidence that this chocolate was in fact poisoned? Again, that is something that may require a little bit more time to definitively prove. So then, in actuality, you do not have evidence that Major Howl consumed some poisoned chocolate. Instead, you have a solitary piece of rubbish that you plucked straight out of the gutter. Weak, even for you, JJ. Let's move things along. I have another witness I would like to summon. He is a man who claims to have had an excellent view of the people going in and out of the Louvre at the time of the incident. I call upon Monsieur Toussaint Kingsley. Could the witness please approach the stand and recite the oath? Is this a heron? Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Oh, right. The oath. I swear to speak without hatred and without fear. Tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Please state your full name and occupation for the court record. And Toussaint Kingsley, and I'm a person who fishes. A person who fishes? So you're a fisherman? Oh, is that how it is? I thought the French justice system was better than this. I beg your pardon? Here comes Toussaint Kingsley, the kingfisher. Clearly he must be a fisherman because didn't you hear? All kingfishers are fishermen. Well, you are carrying a fishing rod. And can a man not carry a fishing rod, reel, and bait without being branded a fisherman? Look, prosecutor's carrying a riding crop. Clearly he must be a horse jockey. For pity's sake, fine, we can list your occupation as person who fishes and not fisherman. Thank you. Actually, why do you carry a riding crop, Severin? I've never seen you ride a horse. I don't know, JJ. Why are you, a 30-something-year-old with no health problems, carry a cane? This is veering quite off the course. Could the prosecution please get back to the questions? Of course, Your Honor. Monsieur Kingsley, is it true that you were nearby the Louvre at the time of the incident? Yes, I was sitting upon a railing at Pont des Arts. The Pont des Arts? That's the new bridge that's just a stone's throw from the Louvre's south entrance, correct? That's right. And what were you doing at the time of the incident? I was fishing. Kingfishers. Am I right, Falcon? So you would have had plenty of opportunity to see the people who entered and exited the palace. Can you tell us who you saw? Well, the Louvre's a busy place. Naturally, I saw a lot of people. But at 9 a.m., I saw the king, Louis Philippe himself, enter the building. He was surrounded by his entourage, of course. Then around 9:30, I saw this shifty-looking fox lurking around the entrance. Your Honor, I object to the witness's use of the term shifty-looking. It's vague and biased description. Oh, really? He looks super shifty. I saw him rubbing his paws and cackling gleefully. I saw him take out a rose and carefully rub the stem. Rub the stem of a rose, you say? As if you were applying something to the flower, perhaps? Well, Monsieur, I really shouldn't speculate. Of course. I was in the wrong to ask such a leading question. But, yeah, it definitely looked like he was putting some sort of powder on the stem. Wow, even I wasn't expecting such a bold admission. Members of the court, it sounds like we have here is a direct witnessing of the defendant readying the murder weapon. The defense claims that the rose was never poisoned, and yet here we have a man who saw the poison with his own eyes. I smell perjury. You do? No question. He saw a shifty-looking criminal readying the poison, cackling near the crime scene. That's not believable at all. I think you might be right. Wonder if I have any evidence that calls Toint's story into doubt. Your Honor, I'd like to cross-examine the witness. Really? This nonsense again? You just heard the witness directly describe your client readying poison on a rose. What is there to question? I'm just trying to uncover the truth, Your Honor. Ugh, fine, do your thing. Go on, Falcon, make a fool of yourself. Monsieur Kingsley, you claim that you saw a shifty-looking fox. Yep, super mega shifty. Must be at least 100 foxes in Paris. How do you know the fox you saw was Prince Juan? Well, he was wearing a suave hat that hanged low over his eyes. Here, that's how they wear them in Spain. I'm not much of a fashion expert, but the rest of his outfit looked quite out of place for the French winter. Is that all you're going by? His fashion sense? Oh, nearly forgot. I heard him call a passerby senor. I thought that was peculiar. Well, that's him, all right. Not valid testimony. All foxes are shifty looking by default. Whoa, that's not cool. Mon Dieu, JJ, it's the 19th century. You can't just throw out slurs like that in this day and age. I'm just saying, no, you listen. France is better than this. We've moved beyond our need to hold back animals we don't like through the use of oppressive stereotypes. Well said, prosecutor. Slurs are archaic. Now we, as a society, cannot hold back animals we don't like through more subtle institutional means. Right. Wait, what? Hey, welcome to the ziggurat, Mr. Gentleman. I hope you enjoy your time here. I'm surprised it's not letting me use the evidence here, because we have the letter showing he came in from the other place. Monsieur Kingsley, you say that a fox was rubbing the stem of a rose. Yep, saw it with my own eyes. How far away were you from the south entrance? 20 meters, perhaps? 30? Somewhat doubtful you can make out a powder being applied to anything at those sorts of distances. Monsieur, I don't claim to have seen the powder myself. I said that it looked like he was applying powder to the flower stem. Could have been a wax or liquid or whatever. The guy was definitely putting something on the flower. I see. That's nice and vague. Also, Kingsley, you said you were sitting upon the railings of the Pont des Arts at the morning of the incident? Yep. Also, Kingsley, you had a good view of the Louvre's south entrance, didn't you? Yep. Pont des Arts is a great vantage point for seeing the Grand Gallery's south side. What about the other entrances? The other entrances? I mean, like if you were entering from the Tuileries Gardens or the Palais du Carrousel? I couldn't possibly see those areas from the bridge. But of course, that isn't relevant. Monsieur Kingsley witnessed Prince Juan entering the south entrance with a flower in hand, and that's what counts. What if Prince Juan didn't enter from the south entrance? What if he approached the Louvre from the Tuileries Gardens to the west. That is a big what if. Do you have any evidence that Prince Juan entered the Louvre from the Tuileries Gardens? As a matter of fact, yes, I do. I have definitive proof that Prince Juan approached from the west and not the south. Hey, I know what I saw, monsieur. I am doubtful too. Go on, JJ. Show us this definitive proof that Prince Juan entered from the Louvre from the Tuileries Gardens. Look at this. A book page. Page 44 from Don Quixote. Specifically, is found just outside the Louvre's west entrance. This proves nothing. I'm not done yet. Take a look at this. Don Quixote. This is the book Prince Juan has been reading in jail since his arrest. I believe he has had it on his person for some time. And yes, page 44 is missing. That was the first thing I checked. You do realize what this means, don't you, Severin? The defendant was present in the Tuileries Gardens prior to entering the Louvre. This also means that, in all likelihood, the defendant entered the Louvre from the west entrance, not the south. He could not possibly have been seen by Monsieur Kingsley for the Pont des Arts. What? I know what I saw, Monsieur. A fine theory, Falcon, but maybe the defendant took the long way around. One could still travel from the Tuileries to the Louvre's south entrance by walking along the river. An extra 2 kilometers of walking just to enjoy the pre-murder scenery? Let's not say silly things, Cocorico. Okay, maybe the defendant deliberately left the page there to mislead the investigation. Now you're the one who's blindly speculating. It's not blind speculation, it's a viable hypothesis. You're fond of logic, aren't you, Cocorico? Let's talk about Occam's razor. When torn between 2 seemingly equal hypotheses, we must side with the one that imposes the fewest assumptions. Which of these theories takes fewer assumptions? 1. The page from Prince Juan's book fell out on the way to the Louvre's south entrance. 2. Prince Juan deliberately planted a page on the off chance that it would be discovered, then took the long way around. How dare you! The nerve of you to lecture me on basic philosophical concepts! I'll stop lecturing you when you stop making such basic mistakes. Monsieur Falcon, please calm yourself. What is the point of all this yammering? The ultimate point is that Toussaint's testimony is fabricated, made up, utter fiction. No, everything I've said is the truth. I suspect the witness isn't even a fisherman. I'm not a fisherman. See, he admits it himself. That's not what I meant. Innocent. What a twist. Prosecutor, you have something that will put this arrogant Falcon in his place, don't you? I must concede. You concede? On this point, at least, Falcon's evidence strongly suggests that the key component of Monsieur Kingsley's testimony is false. No! That doesn't mean that Prince Juan is innocent, of course. All Falcon has demonstrated is that this particular witness is unreliable. But I did see something. I really did. All right, so maybe I didn't see a shifty-looking fox. I made that part of the story up. But I did see a swan lurking around the south entrance on the morning of the murder. A swan? You shut up, witness. Your word is mud at this point. How can we possibly trust anything you have to say? Your Honor, Judge Romulus, we're out of time. We're 10 minutes overdue to start on the Hare versus Tortoise trial. It's that late already? Curses. I was hoping we'd have the case wrapped up in a single trial session. It is a shame, but ultimately an accurate sentencing is always preferable to a speedy sentencing. Yes, all right. I don't need to hear your moralizing. Court will resume Friday, 21st of January at 9 o'clock. Don't be late. Prosecutor, do your damn job. Get this stupid fox convicted already. I will do my best to ensure that justice is served, Your Honor. What came up in that trial, huh? Yeah, no doubt about that. Something's bothering me. Why would that fisherman guy, Monsieur Kingsley, lie on the witness stand? Maybe he wanted his minute in the spotlight. Some people will say and do strange things to get attention. Oh, you think that was it? I assumed something more heinous was going on. Let's keep an open mind. Anything is possible at this stage. To be perfectly honest, something else is bothering me about the trial. Judge Romulus is acting without a shred of professionalism. He's obviously more interested in securing a guilty verdict than he is in discovering the truth. But why? Maybe he has a vendetta against the Spanish royalty. I'm not so sure. Must be something else at work here. Excuse me. Excuse me, Monsieur Falcon? Sorry to bother you, but this letter just arrived. I think it's for you. Letter for me? I wonder why it wasn't sent to my office. Have you been demoted in courier status, Rupert? Hush, Sparrow son. I don't need to be pitied by a first-year dropout. Ooh, good comeback. So what does the letter say, Falcon? It's a threat. A threat made it with cut-out newspaper letters. Whoa. I didn't know those things actually existed. Let me see. Falcon. Stop your investigation or there will be consequences. Scary. There is no question this letter originated from Major Howell's murderer. He, or she, must be aware we are getting close to uncovering the truth. Sounds about right. Why would a person write with cut-out newspaper letters like this? Asking one's handwriting would be the most common reason. Although, can't help but wonder why they would bother since they don't have any handwriting samples to compare it to. We're still going ahead with our investigation though, right? Oh yes, absolutely. The lawyer was deterred every time they received a threatening letter. They would never get any work done. Besides, it's only 3 days before the next trial session. Can't afford to be worrying about petty things like this. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wow, you're right. Make those days count. Oh, only 3 days.